Here,
right?
I don't need one. Yeah.
And these
So
are
we're doing a tasting. I'm here
Yeah.
with Sam Calagione and Brad Bickley at Dogfish Head and Boston Beer, and with some of my staff. And thank you for coming here, Sam, on such short notice.
Thank you, Aaron. It's good to be here with you and your 6 eyes. You have 2 pairs of glasses and your real eyes. You're like an insect over here.
Well, it's funny because it was supposed to be just, you and me and Brad, but word got around my office, and that's why I have an entourage here. Everybody wants to meet Sam.
Well, I got to be honest, when I said what we were doing at this time, Brad, we've been filming, Louising our way together through all the awesome Texas cities, and he's like, "Can I meet Harry? Can I meet Harry?"
Oh,
I've been reading Harry every morning.
You too.
Here we are. It's happening.
So you read my RTD, Jordan and Jen's RTD article this morning. That was a badass article.
That was great, and
It's eye-opening. I mean, there's so many.
And it was cool how you started with the supplier news, and then you also went to, was it Drizzly? Their view of it as well, right? So we know, other than seltzers, it's really the fastest growing, scaling Beyond Beer segment. And Dogfish has been making cocktails for 20 years from scratch. This is literally the longest R&D project of my adult life, because we opened our distillery almost 20 years ago and started making cocktails, but literally are now coming to market with a 20-year invested kind of innovation project.
Cool. So what are we tasting here?
So our first is, well, you guys know we like to F with, can I swear on your show?
Oh, fuck no.
You know your sponsors,
No,
Johnson & Johnson, Sesame Street, they're okay with
the
that?
Center for Science and the Public Interest.
Oh, they're okay, your sponsors. Well, good. Well, you know that we like to fuck with culinary ingredients in so much of what we make, and that holds true on the spirit
almost too
side.
much so.
Well,
I mean,
I don't know if I'd go that far. But at any rate,
there are beers he's made in the 90s that I, wouldn't touch with a barge.
we made beers with lobster and human saliva, but we're not rolling those out in canned cocktails. But I will say the way we invented that vibrating football game for contemporary.
Yes.
So similarly, we kind of created our own custom spicing pods. So as we drink the Dogfish canned cocktails, you'll see great variety in colors. They're all 7% ABV, kind of line ABV, but the flavors coming from real culinary ingredients running out of our own real distillery through the spicing pods is what you'll get. So the first one, lemons. It's a vodka lemonade, but made with strawberries and honeyberries. And honeyberries like elephantitis of the blueberry. It's like a blonde, more intense, more tart blueberry.
And how do you even discover that, just in case the camera works? But
I shit you not, my high school roommate that Mariah and I went to high school with went on to Bowdoin College. He's an organic farmer in Maine, and a crop that he grows is honeyberries, and his name is Eli Berry.
oh my
That
god,
was destiny, Harry.
that is destiny, man.
Destiny.
That's good.
This is really good, and I'm not just saying this because Sam's here and Brad's here. That is, I would drink this all day long.
Yeah.
It's 7%, huh?
Like this
Harry's a big fan of vodka.
Yes.
I don't know if you know that, but
That's an understatement of the century. See that we know there's a wide array of recipes that are being released under the concept of canned cocktails, but we were truly one of the first craft distilleries in America. And we didn't front it. We really wanted to focus on these real natural culinary ingredients.
this is really good. I gotta tell you. I mean, Millicent, buy this when it comes.
Where can we buy it, Brad?
Yeah.
Here
Where can
in
we find it?
the
So it's probably liquor
greater
stores.
Of our sales.
San Antonio market.
So this is spirit based. So it could, like in Texas, it can only be sold in
Liquor
package stores.
That's correct.
And so, but you are using beer distributors to sell this
100% of Boston beer goes through the 3-tier network.
right here.
We are committed to
Give me a
that.
high
bless the
five on
three-tier
that.
network.
God bless the beer network, because a lot of these are going through wine and spirits houses, and which is fine, if that's your choice. But it's hard to hit C stores and other places in other states.
Absolutely.
Thank you. What's really cool is, the BBC network of distributors is absolutely killing it with our growth, is taking an entrepreneurial risk with us alongside us, because this is a new class of trade for all of us.
And they have to get a license and all that. Well, most of them have it now by now. I would say.
We are the first RTD in the spirit side in most of our BBC distributors throughout Texas,
really?
Which is really exciting because they're like, we're getting pitched every day, but we know how long you guys have been doing it. We know BBC's #1 rated sales force in the country. This is the one we want to go big with, you know?
And that's, not to just shoot a bunch of blow up your skirt, but
Sesame Street's gonna take a lot of money.
But I gotta say, like, I'm not saying anything. Jim Cook and you are very, very popular amongst distributors. And when I say popular, like, just run through the wall, do anything for you type guys, and that is. I tell other suppliers that don't have that, they're like, what can I do? I'm like, make friends with your distributors. Be cool. Quit being an asshole. That's all it takes. And you know what? A lot of them just can't do it. It's hard not to be an asshole. Trust me, I know.
I think I read that on your Insta feed that you took ownership. You took ownership.
Being an asshole.
I will say, like, we're having a blast going from city to city, and when you can just, again, it's a new class of trade for us. We're trying to figure out, like, on-premise is essentially a fourth tier that we have to go through. Like, it's not like, oh shit, it's more like awesome. It feels like we're startups again, and we're going to figure this out together. And like literally half of our meetings, it's BBC folks, Dogfish talking, and the other half it's us listening and just saying, your market better than us, and I think that's why we're growing as a company the way we are.
Yeah, I like this one too.
This one is the blueberry shrub vodka soda. So a shrub is a traditional cocktail, but that actually has balsamic vinegar in it. So the spicing pods. The spicing pods are, the vodka comes out of the still, goes through our spicing pods, packed with blueberries, and then with this balsamic vinegar that's in the background, but it's contributing a lot of that red color. So each of these,
how did you, everybody understands blueberries, but how did you come up with balsamic vinegar? Like, nobody would say, this needs a little balsamic vinegar.
So we have, you've visited. We've hung out in Rehoboth. You came and spoke at our conference years ago, and we have our Dogfish brew.
Thank you for inviting me again. I'm sorry I couldn't.
Well, I actually didn't invite you again, but okay.
Oh, trust me, I know. I notice Jen now gets the invites.
Where was I? So we have our brewing eats, Dogfish Brewing Eats, where we have a little brewing system where we do our R&D there. But on the other side of the property, we have Dogfish Chesapeake and Maine, which is our seafood. We call it geographically enamored seafood restaurant. So we source 100% of the seafood from the Chesapeake and from Maine, which 90% of the seafood sold in America comes from overseas.
90% of what?
Seafood sold in restaurants in America comes from overseas. So we made a commitment to work direct with the fishermen in the Chesapeake and Maine regions. And we do these beautiful oysters because they're from there. And a key ingredient in meunier, the sauce that you have oysters with, or however you pronounce it, is vinegar. And so we started learning, if we do a blueberry meunier and then we put vodka in it, we're like, we need to start, putting this into cans. So actually, the idea came through a bivalve. An ancient bivalve was the spirit animal of this can concept.
A bivalve is an oyster, honey.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right.
That is really good. I kind of now. I would have never pointed out the vinegar, but when you drink, you're like, okay, I think I might. My taste buds have been just destroyed by endless chewing tobacco and vodka and smoking and
Don't even say anything else.
Sesame
HPV.
Oh no! I do remember the first time I sampled Harry on Sequench Ale. You were there, Jordan.
Jordan was
and
there.
he's like, it goes really good with the tip that I did not really take on.
Yeah.
Right?
He asked that 100 times before. He's like, Sam, does this need to be chilled? Does this need to be chilled? And I was like, of course it needs to be cold. Like, of course. And then we pull it out of the fridge, and first thing he does is pop in a big thing of Red Bull. And I'm like, all right, I'm ready. What does it matter if it's hot or cold or
You've already
ruined
Spearmint chewing gum, you know. I put a chewing gum when I was in Fort Collins way years ago with Kim Jordan doing a tasting, and she's like, "Did you just put fucking gum in your mouth?"
It's like that wine movie Sideways when they're like talking about like the Merlot. Do you have chewing gum in your mouth? But yeah, so this is the second of the vodka ones.
It's very good.
I'm doubling up just in case this isn't working.
Oh, good. But yeah, so this
I
is
like the way it smells.
yeah,
too.
this one, and we're very thoughtful. You know, having done the R&D for 20 years, we're like, all right, when we come to market, we want them to be really distinct. We want them all 7 ABV, because some of our competitors like all over the map ABV, and we want it to be an easy proposition for the consumer to say, okay, I'm gonna take a risk and try something I haven't had from Dogfish before. So they're line priced, but they're really distinct. I would say the first one we
Your
had
line price with what?
each other, line ABV,
Right, okay.
and line priced with each other. There's 2 foolproof shots in every one of these.
They're probably higher than like a White Claw or something like that.
Yeah, a bit higher. And like for context, you know, there's other vodka-based canned cocktails that choose to play more in the seltzer space that are more like seltzer-like in their ABV. Whereas ours is a bigger ABV, more cocktail
It
centric.
seems to me like 7% is going to be what we all center on in the going word.
For
Like,
this canned cocktail space, not seltzer space.
yes,
Yeah.
because it's first of all, it's hard to make it 5%, but I would imagine, but it's also just people. That's what people want is just that little extra bump.
So this is the second of the vodka. I'll pass this.
I agree with that though, because I like to drink. I like vodka. I don't drink it straight.
Yeah.
I drink it with, and that's what the first one reminded me of. The strawberry one.
Yeah.
It reminded me of the Simply Lemonade. You know, they have a bunch of different flavors,
Yeah.
and I mix it with my vodka. So this
It's a real fruit.
is very convenient for me because I was just in the can.
Cutting
I
out
don't have
the
to get two
middleman.
things and, yeah.
We're cutting out the middleman.
Yeah.
So who are your distributors? Is it you with Glaciers or Silver Eagle?
Yep. So we had met with Glaciers today, and actually, I did want to say your story. I don't know if it was Monday or Tuesday. We got to meet with all the Faust team the other day, and it was cool reading that story. So rest in peace. What an amazing story. Started in our industry as a 16-year-old. Had a Falstaff distributor. I don't know from what age, but talk about an American entrepreneurial success story, right?
I mean,
That was great.
yeah, he really is such a nice, kind man. I mean, couldn't have been nicer. You know, in contrast to my father and Joe Huggins, who were complete assholes. I talked to my 80-year-old mother after Faust died, and I said, "You remember Mr. Faust?" She said, "Oh yes. They had a boat. They'd go out, out Galveston, and every time it sank, and I was like, wait, every time it sank? What? She goes, yeah, stores would come in and it would get overflown, and then Faust would get out and tug it back to shore while Henry and Huggins would just sit and drink at the boat. She goes, that's the kind of man he was."
That's fantastic. So that's our network, and we spent some good time with the HTC team in Houston as well. So
Yeah.
So this is a dumb question, but how do you decide if you go with Glaciers or Silver Eagle, like here in town? Those are the only 2 we have. How is that y'all's decision?
Well, I would say it's a complicated situation. First of all, because Dogfish came into the state many years ago in a separate group of beer houses than the rest of our Boston beer portfolio is with. So I'll say that with the canned cocktail opportunity, because it's a different class of trade, we had the opportunity to go 100% with the BBC network. We have great respect
It's a
for
delicate situation.
Well, we have great respect for Benny Keith.
I just had to ask.
Yeah, and like for example, we were selling into Specs, trying the canned cocktails the other day, and ran into the Benny Keith sales guy, and I got to walk the beer floor with him while I was tasting the canned cocktails with our Boston beer distributor. So there's a lot of respect, but it is a complicated situation.
Well, the thing is with Texas is, I always say this, and I've been saying this for 20 years, you kind of can't go wrong. Both the Miller system and the AB system are really good in this state. It's not like one is way higher share than the other. They're both kind of equal share, and they're both good operators, I would say.
And they love to compete. Like it seems very, very like clean competition. They love to compete. That's what makes I think the beer industry. Isn't this the number one beer market in the country?
It's number 2.
Is it? Yeah. We try harder.
It was number 1 for 20.
Yeah, we try harder. We're hurt.
Yeah.
We're number 2.
That's right. 2020 or at the end of 2020, it surpassed California.
First time.
Yeah.
Oh, so we're number 1?
Yeah.
Oh, this is the celebratory issue of our podcast.
That's what I say. Put in my hands with my poles, bouncing on 24. Ignition. This don't ignition, my ignition, don't stick my key, your ignition. Gonna roll in that body, got
So
it.
this is you just gotta jump in.
Oh, yeah.
I'm impressed by
They'll
that.
be editing. They'll be editing, right? You impressed with that?
I was impressed by
Oh,
that.
don't worry. He knows quite a few like old rap songs that don't matter, and he'll get about 50% of the words right, but his arm movements and everything just rolls. It
Strong.
just-
So this one is,
what is this one?
Oh, yeah.
it's harder to
Yeah.
make whiskey in a RTD. Is that right?
I would say so, and it probably is counterintuitive that we wanted one of our 3 launches to be a whiskey, but again, whiskey is just beer that you're not adding hops to, and then you're sending through a distillery in barrels for a bunch of years. And we just got Whiskey Advocate just gave our Dogfish Let's Get Lost whiskey a 92 outstanding score. So that the heart of that goes through our still into spicy buds with a baking cherry, not an eating cherry. It's a tart cherry, and then it's also filled with bergamot oranges, which is like a lemon orange hybrid. And you'd never think that. So it has the
Why
real.
can't you just use normal fruit? Why does it always have to be a hybrid, fucked up? I mean, how do you even source this shit?
Jeez.
I mean, for 25 years, this motherfucker has been. He got one of those tables that shakes. One of the
Football games.
70s, they had this.
People our age know about it.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, I had one. I loved it. And what a terrible game. The table was
Nobody
shaking.
wins.
They would not. They
No
wouldn't
one
go in
wins.
any direction. But he used that with hops
Yep.
to have it shake into the barrel, so it would shake it, not all at once. And then he had the Mr. Hopmeister Monster. What's it called? The Mr.
Randall the enamel animal.
Yes, Randall the enamel animal.
Yeah.
Oh,
And now we
man.
get spicy buds.
Did you know that?
Brad,
you can buy.
The spicy buds. I got some spicy buds for you.
So yes, this one is the whiskey, and the hard thing is making a whiskey can cocktail sessionable.
Yeah.
But again, the real fruit, starting with the cherries up front, and then the citrus note, the bergamot, dries it out at the end, makes you want to crack open the second can.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you get the oak
No, I
notes,
like
it.
oak and vanilla notes in the
Yeah.
nose?
Yeah,
And
and
then
it's
the
very
fruit.
over ice. Like I feel like I would be drinking a whiskey sour.
Yeah, over ice with a wedge of citrus.
Yeah, I mean,
That's when you can have a whiskey drink on the boat.
Do you think
Yeah.
there's any?
I think I like this one the best.
Do you-
The more tart fruity. This one's a little sweeter.
I
Tart
think that
fruity.
one's my favorite.
I mean, you're probably gonna get some weird disease because none of these fruits they grow natural in the world.
Harry, if I haven't got a disease for you by now.
Oh, hey-oh,
Thank you.
hey-oh. So, do you think these would have any traction in the on-premise or no?
Yeah, no, I think that Texas is more challenging because it's essentially a 4-tier route to market for on-prem. But what's really cool is as retailers are trying it, they're like, this is perfect because not only is it it's not going to ever do well in a super fancy mixology place because they're like, Sam, you're not going to replace my $18 martini and the showmanship behind it. This is really high quality, but I don't want to be.
Yeah, you're trading down.
Yeah. But what we were really excited about is like high-end demographic places, but that are high volume. They have deck bars or golf courses are like, oh my God, it's mixology quality, crack and go. And the really interesting thing is the ones that are seeing that the legislation is going to stay live for to go. And that now this becomes, at the end of the night, take home 4 bar mixology quality cocktails, to go. So we're pretty excited about the on-premise, opportunity.
I'm excited about
Who do
this,
you view as
7%.
your like main competitor, like Cutwater, I guess, AB?
Well, I mean, I'm excited to see how everyone is kind of staying in their own lane. And while we kind of were first to be a craft distillery before most of the players that are in the market, we're really confident in the I'll give you a good example. Before we even launched, when we sent like those blank generic cans of samples around, James Montero, who lives in Dallas and oversees the canned cocktail business, had the foresight to say, all right, this is the final recipe, we're all happy with it. And without telling us, he sent it to the LA Spirits Awards. And this one, the one you like the best, Willie, won best of show for any canned cocktail. And it wasn't even in market yet. So we're very confident in the quality of our liquid. And there's some great competitors out there, but we're really excited. Like the number one thing we know we need to do, as we talk to the distributors, is sample this. There's not going to be blimps. There's not going to be TV ads, but we're going to put some resources.
But have you ever considered blimps?
Well, that's a good question.
It seems like a really nice way to.
Yeah.
I'm all the old school marketing,
Right.
You know.
Someone needs to reconsider the blimp.
Yes.
All right.
The Dogfish Head blimp.
You guys,
gentlemen,
Brad's writing that down.
We have a treat today. We have the Dogfish Head blimp over us. This is the Dogfish cam coming at you from the lacrosse team in Delaware.
So okay, we got that note. He's both double writing it down on the phone.
Texting and
Right. Yeah, but really sampling, Dogfish already kind of outpunches our weight as a brand for social media. We have 1.1 million followers.
Thank you for Mariah.
God bless Mariah.
Yeah.
She got that train going. So obviously we're going to be providing a lot of air cover here in Texas. We got an awesome relationship with Texas Monthly. We got the culture map relationship is really cool. So we're going to be providing air cover for our distributors with that kind of work. But the biggest investment we can do is getting the sample, letting people try, and also decanting it.
I will buy it.
Thank you. I just sold my first case.
I know. And so when in Texas can I buy this at a package store?
So literally the trucks have showed up in some cities this week, other cities next week. So our goal is really to start promoting it April 1. What's that next week? Saying it's
so you're gonna. Do you really want to launch a brand on April Fool's Day?
No, April 2. April 2. April 1, we unleash the blimps. We're coming at you, Amazon.
Look in the sky across the nation. You will see a blimp. That's good shit,
right.
though.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Sam, I got a question for you.
Yep.
So, if you read our article today, you saw a lot of margaritas on there.
Yep.
Does tequila interest you at all?
This is professionally, not personally, Jordan.
Yeah.
So we did our first agave-based tequila in our distillery 19 years ago, and I sent the label to the TTB, and I wrote Dogfish Head tequila made with a bunch of weird ingredients, and they sent it back and said, tequila is like an appellation.
It has to be made in
champagne.
Mexico. Yeah.
So I sent it back with the Dogfish Head, one hyphenated word, I can't believe it's not tequila. How fun would it be to do a shot and be like, I can't believe it's not tequila? No sense of humor.
TTB, they lost their sense of humor years ago.
Really nice people, but that label they did not approve. So literally after that, we've not done tequila, but we brewed with agave, and we'll continue to do fun things with agave. So I'd say never say never, but it's not one of the innovations behind these that we think would be next to market in the Dogfish canned cocktail lineup.
Yeah. Listen, you got to put it in the can, right, Melissa? You got to put it in the can.
Okay, okay. That's the sound of something cracking open. It's not bleeping, it's just the sound of a can cracking open. Go ahead. Oh, you need more.
Have you?
Like that reason or whatever.
Yeah.
That's the benefit of being first in the morning.
What's that, Jess?
They miss their BBD.
Yeah. I want my BBD. You got to steal the MTV logo.
Yes.
I want my BBD.
Yeah.
People that retire or move on, they can still email us and say Is there any way that we can like get, can we like get
Just to stay in the industry.
They still want to know. They're like, we've been in the industry 20 years.
Yeah.
That shows what a great community is that they want to.
Yeah, we got tons of
We
gratis.
have a lot of gratis.
Generous.
You want to edit that out too. Jess
Yeah,
wants to edit.
yeah. I don't want to start a run on the
Give
bank.
it for free.
No, yeah. But, you know, these
Gary's
guys are
like
like
Oprah.
70 years old.
And Jessica and I are like, show me that.
That's on my list. That's on my list. But you need to go through these people and tell me do they really need it for free.
Start calling them out individually.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Jessica has
Anybody
a whole
over
list
70 gets it for free.
Harry always just give them gratis. Give them gratis. And I'm like, Harry, we're trying to like senior VP of beverage for Target. No, we're gratis. Like
They can afford this. All right, we'll edit that little part. out.
that does not go
For the audience. All right, what else on the record?
Yeah, what else? I know you guys have an important meeting, so we don't want to.
No, every meeting is important.
We're the most important.
No,
Really?
I would say the largest
I'm just
retailer
kidding.
in the largest state.
I'm just
We do have about 15 minutes.
Okay. Good.
Okay, cool.
Okay, Jordan, you have one? A
Oh
topic?
no, I was just talking about how in the summit,
Yeah.
the virtual summit, the most recent summit.
Yes.
There was a lot where Harry said, "Oh, don't worry, we'll edit this out," and then you watched the live version.
It's
of
in
it.
there.
That's all it is. Because that's the shit people want to hear.
I know it was hilarious, but when you keep saying, "Oh yeah, we'll edit this out,"
Don't trust him.
let me know.
All right.
Editing's an arduous process.
Yeah.
Speaking of the summit, shout out to you and Jen
Oh,
for
God,
like
thank
coming in
y'all.
Oh, man.
pledge
Yes.
last night. And honestly, it was.
It came out great when you guys edited it together. Whatever you did, the magic of post-production, well done.
I did.
Did you?
I'm
Well
the
done.
only one knows how to do it. The
Well
company.
done.
Harry
Yeah.
did it.
That
was
was one
great
of the toughest moments of my life.
Yeah, stressful.
Well, just interviewing you and Jim alone was a tall task.
Yeah. And then with IT challenges.
And then when everything was shutting down, I was like, "Oh,
I'm pretty.
All over, flip the table.
Oh, but
Yeah,
Harry,
just-
Harry almost did.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure I shit and fell back in it. Because I was just like, because Jessica,
I was like,
I looked at Jessica and Jessica goes, I think I'm gonna throw up, and I just started crying.
Crying.
And I'm not a crier.
Yeah.
And I look at her and I'm like, oh my God, because Jessica and I
If you cry, I'm gonna
essentially-
cry.
Well, Harry had COVID when we were signing all the contracts for the summit.
Yeah.
So Jessica and I essentially were behind all of like the hotel, the IT, the AV, all of that. So then when the internet crashed, Jessica's like, I'm up
and
on it. I'm like, I'm
wasn't
gonna cry.
even
Like,
Jason.
Yeah.
it wasn't anybody we hired. It was the hotel, and I was
I
like,
know.
Oh my God.
I mean, it was a
It was
travesty.
totally out of our
Because you found the world-class IT company, but the no.
Oh, we had
Clearly, you have to have
Badass.
bandwidth to make it work. Yeah.
It was
Who would've known?
devastating, but
Well,
y'all came
thank
in
you
clutch.
guys. Thank you. You guys can't.
Yeah.
You know, anybody else would have been pissed off, which you should have been.
Annoyed,
And
yeah.
it was nice of you to just hang in there
It
and
was very
finish
nice.
it.
It's a long relationship. You
You
guys know
should see
Jim
Yeah.
thinks the world of you guys.
Well,
Love
likewise.
him.
Likewise. Yeah.
Love
What were you gonna say, Brett?
I say you should see our Thursday ELT happy hours. We have all the same problems. All the
Yeah,
time.
Well, I felt really good when I watched
Videos,
the Golden
trying to
Globes,
shoot
videos.
and it was
Also a mess.
The Golden Globes were glitchy, and I was like, that makes me feel
Yeah.
so much better.
And but they didn't post production fix it the way you guys did.
Right. It ran, and that was the end of the story. Like,
Yeah.
that was that. That was a
Did
rough
you
week.
bring any merch for them or no?
Yeah.
I gave him
I already got
an
mine.
entire bag.
Yep. Yep.
Of course I did.
Very
I think
kind.
Sam brought something for you.
Yeah, I got the team some beer and some hats, and I got you this.
Thank you. How did you know?
Well, you looked a little dry.
I mean, I have been dry. She knows.
His lips have been so dry. So when you're like, I'm giving him chapstick, I was like, that's actually perfect.
Oh my God.
It's the
Yeah, I'm sure I'll get allergic reaction to whatever fucked up shit's in this.
Whatever exotic
Yeah.
spice I found in Ecuador.
Organic essential oil of
These are really
orange,
good. And I'm not just saying that because you're sitting.
sunflower oil.
It's good.
I'm
No,
sure.
but I love that it's 7%.
I think I like it because I don't.
Because every other RTD is
It's just like 7 ABV.
4.5. And so
Yeah.
then, but then I can't get drunk because I have to drink
Can I get it?
10 of them.
It's
And
a beer at that
So
point.
this,
Oh, this
I
is
can
good, yeah.
have
Yeah.
pour and I'll be okay.
So tell us about this one real quick.
Okay.
Oh, no. We've already done whiskey sour.
Yeah. So I think did we talk about all three? I think
we
I
did.
feel like we did.
Yeah,
And
we
the
did.
specialty ingredients.
Always specialty.
Yeah. What else should we talk?
Great.
Oh, you guys. I did share Hazy O with you.
Yes.
But on the beer side, that's our big bet innovation, new to our core lineup. So that's been launching coast to coast and is doing great. We're really excited about Hazy O. What else do I have?
Well, okay. So one last question.
Okay.
What do you hate about combining with Boston Beer Company?
I'm interested too.
Yeah.
I think we talked.
There's nothing that I hate about it. We're having a blast, but I'm not going to say that and not answer, because I would say I do think it's been more challenging for us to align distribution than Jim and I assumed it would be. And so if I had to say a challenge that was heightened more than our expectation, that has been it. But we know there's a lot of awesome entrepreneurial companies that are among the 3 tiers, and it is what it is. So we respect everyone's journey, but and I should say when we merged, we were about 50% aligned, and we're already up to about 84, 85. So it's going in an
That's
awesome
good.
direction.
Yeah.
That's volume, I guess. Or-
That would be volume as a percentage.
And what do you dislike about Jim?
Honestly,
Wait, can you give us his character flaws?
so we're both a little gross when we travel, because like I never check baggage. I've been on the road for 2 weeks because we're opening Dogfish Miami, so I was down there doing the test batches last week. I've been here with Brad and going through, and I've just had my one little roll on. And when Jim travels, literally all he has is a shoulder bag.
It's satchel.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So what I would say is, if Jim or I come up to you at a beer event and we say we've been on the road for about 10 days, stay away from us. Give us about a 10-foot radius.
Well, I was telling Millicent, she's like, "Are you ready to meet Sam like 2 days?" I go, "Yeah, well, I showered today, so that should be good through Thursday."
I took my shower for the week.
For the week.
Like literally. So that might be why your lips are a little dry.
I gotta show you this. This is my favorite picture with Jim.
Oh my
of all
God.
time.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we
That's
didn't
why-
put that one on social media.
So Harry posted it, and Craig Purser texts me at
said,
4
"Take it
a.m.
down?"
and goes, "Get Harry, get that off your Instagram now."
Was this on your personal or on the?
On his personal.
My partial, but you
Yeah.
know, nowadays that would be offensive to somebody, you know.
Oh,
It's- yeah.
I didn't see that at first. I was like, what's wrong with
Oh
it?
yeah, no, it's a great it's a great photo. Yeah, Craig Purser was like, "Get it down,
No,
get it down."
Craig's like my little angel up here, just telling me what to do.
Telling him what to, yeah. 100%.
I wonder who's on that shoulder. It's Craig
right,
Purser's
yeah.
on this shoulder.
Yeah, right.
No.
Well, good. Well, thank you guys for coming in, and
Oh no, we closed
I
out.
appreciate it.
Yeah, because
It was cool. I mean, right when I knew I was coming to San Antonio, I was like, I asked Brad, can I find an hour to hang with you in your hometown? So I'm
Thank
glad,
you.
I'm glad we found the time to do this, guys.
I know.
Absolutely.
Come see us